Hello and welcome to another episode of Gaveka's Kitchen. I'm Gavin Knecht and today I'm going to be making Matchday Meatballs. Now the reason for this is because Wales are playing Scotland today in about 2 hours time, and so I'm going to make these meatballs. They're a brilliant half-time snack, and I'm going to be making some roast potatoes to accompany them. Okay, so let's begin with the really important stuff. Okay, so here I've got 600 grams of minced beef. Okay, important that it's beef. Yeah. Okay, and to accompany that, I have 300 grams of shredded smoked bacon. Okay, so that's going in as well. Now, all the way from Wales, I have some grated cheddar, 200 grams. Okay, it's Welsh cheddar, and what I did with that is I grated it and I froze it. I took it out of the freezer, I bashed it up a little bit so that it's nice and powdery. Okay, so that'll help the mix. Okay, and I have some grated Emmentaler, that's also 200 grams. Okay, now we're going to need something to bind this, so 100 grams of plain wheat flour, your average normal flour. Okay, and one large chicken egg. Okay, good. Now let's start putting this stuff together. Okay, so I'll bring this beef forward so that you can see it. Now the first thing that I'm going to add is the 300 grams of shredded bacon. Okay, you can use something like pancetta, but please, if you're in Germany, don't get the Kater Schinken. This stuff is much better. What I've done is I've actually got some belly pork, smoked belly pork, and I've shredded it myself. It doesn't take 5 minutes to do. Okay, so I'm going to just roughly and coarsely mix that together with a wooden spatula. Okay, it doesn't have to be pretty at this point. Okay, and you probably notice I haven't used any seasoning like salt and pepper. The reason for this is simple. There'll be enough salt from the smoky bacon. And the cheese will add lots of flavour to this. Okay, so now that that's mixed in a little bit, next ingredient is going to be the grated Welsh cheddar, which has been frozen. So you can probably see the consistency of that is actually quite powdery and crumbly. That'll mix in nicely. Okay, so I can just throw this in now. Yeah, I'll just mix this in a little bit. Okay, and I'm using the wooden spatula at the moment because I'm trying to delay actually getting my hands dirty. You could, if you like, use gloves, which is probably a better idea, but it's quite a waste, isn't it, using gloves for something like this. Okay, so now I'm going to put in the other cheese. Okay, the Emmentaler has gone in now. Okay. Now, I'm going to make a small hole in the middle. I'm going to put the egg in. Can you see that? Okay, now I'm going to give it a bit of a bash around. Okay, a bit of a mix in the middle.
I think this is the point now where you really shouldn't use the wooden spoon, because you can actually mix it better when you squeeze everything through your fingers.
Yeah, that's right, and I'm about to do that, but I want to put the flour in first. And I'm going to do this rather gently, okay? And try to do this as evenly as possible. So that's half of the flour now. Okay, and I'll show you why I didn't start squeezing it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn this over a little bit so then I can see the bits that haven't been exposed to the flour.
Can you explain why you use flour?
Well, flour is just a really good binding agent. And it works together really well with the egg. And once again,
I know for meatballs, people using breadcrumbs.
yeah, breadcrumbs will work. Flour is my, it is my preference, to be honest with you. Okay, so now I'm going to start getting my hands dirty. Okay. And it's important as well when you make things like meatballs. People don't like doing it because they think that it's messy. But as long as you're on top of the mess, there shouldn't be any issue. Okay, so that's what it looks like at this point. And now, and clean hands as well, remember, yeah?
Always when you work in a kitchen, wash your hands before.
Yeah, but especially so when you are really hands-on. Okay, and you basically just need to knead this like you would bread. Okay, so now it's all getting mixed in. Okay, so now that I've actually made the mixture, I flattened it down in the bowl, and now I'm going to portion it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to first go halfway through with a knife, and then I'm going to cut it that way. Okay, then I'm going to cut it this way into eighths. Okay, this is proving to be a little bit tough. Okay, okay, so now I have 8 meatballs.
Looks like a cake.
Okay, yeah, it does look a little bit like a cake. And I'm probably going to leave it at 8, okay? You know, just for the sake of convenience, but you could cook that, you could cut that into 16ths and have 16 meatballs. Okay, they cook a little bit faster then, but yeah, I'll leave it at 8 actually. Okay, so now I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these 8s out, rather gingerly, but yeah, and this is about the size of the meatball that I have in my hand. Okay, it's quite large, and I suppose I could cut that in half. I don't know.
Is it a meatball or is it meatloaf?
Well, it's pretty big, isn't it? It's bigger than I thought. No, I'll cut that in half. Okay, and yeah, perhaps I'm going to have a little bit more mix than I thought I would. Okay, so I have a tray here that's been, you know, it's been lightly layered with sunflower oil. Okay, I've just brushed that on with a pastry brush. It's not much at all. It's about a teaspoon. Okay, you don't need much because a lot will come out with this cheese. Now, make sure you pack these balls in, okay, because otherwise they will crack. Okay, so that's one ball.
So you're doing all these 16 balls now, and what's happening to them?
Well, actually, they're gonna go in the oven at 180 degrees for about 40 minutes, 40 to 45 minutes. Okay, I'm probably not gonna have enough room in this one tray to do all of them at once, so I'll probably keep some back for later on. Okay, and you don't need to be, these don't need to be really that well spaced out. Okay, so once again, I've taken another 1/8, and I'll cut that in half. Okay, and yeah, we'll come back later on when I fill the tray. Okay, so now that I've finished making and forming the meatballs, I'm going to leave them rest aside for a few minutes, and in the meantime I'm going to start on the potatoes. Okay, so just put them aside, and I'll start with this tray. Okay, so before we begin, I've got 14 small potatoes here. They've already been boiled in salty water, very salty water. so the salt has actually gone into the skins. Now the reason I'm doing this is because I'm a little bit lazy. You know, these are small potatoes, they're difficult to peel. In fact, they're a bit of a nightmare to peel. So it is easier just to, you know, give them a really good wash and boil them in very salty water, and then you have a salt crusted potato. Okay, now these are not completely boiled, okay, they've been boiling for about 10 minutes, they're still warm. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut these potatoes. The larger ones I'm going to cut in half, into quarters actually, and the small ones I'm going to cut in half. Okay, and to go with that I've got 150 grams of goose fat, okay, which I'll just show you now. Okay, and this is brilliant for potatoes, it's full of flavour. You know, it's not very healthy, and it's not for the, shall we say, calorie shy people, yeah? Okay, but that's not the point of the video. And here I have some beef stock powder, okay, and this is what I'm going to sprinkle over the potatoes when they've been greased up.
And that's all you need?
I think so at the moment, isn't it? Okay, good. So I'm going to start with that now. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with these potatoes. If I just move that out of the way. So the larger ones I'm going to cut like this, okay, and then I'm going to turn it round, and then I'm going to cut it there, okay. So I'm going to put these onto the tray. Same with that one. And then with the smaller ones, sort of this size, I'm just going to cut them in half. Okay, it's more important that they're similar size than a similar shape, simply because they'll cook more evenly, and that's what I'm aiming for. Okay, so something this size, again, this is only going to be cut in half. Okay, and if I show you the tray a moment, okay, I want it that the curved side is on the bottom, okay, because if the potatoes are facing down like this, they will stick and they won't cook properly. Okay, so this way they're much easier to remove from the tray. Okay, so I'll take another large one, same thing, cut it here, cut it in half this way. Okay. Okay, so now they're all chopped up. Okay, it does look a little bit crowded, but that's absolutely fine. Okay, so there's plenty in there. It's enough for me anyway. Okay, so now I'm going to grease up the potatoes. This is goose fat, like I said.
It's already dripping.
Oh dear. Okay, so people in Britain will be familiar with this. Okay, and what I'm going to do is take a big blob of it. Okay, put it in, and I'm going to get right in there with my hands. Okay, so yeah, perhaps it is a good idea to use gloves in retrospect, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, so I'm just going to get my hands in there. Okay, I'm going to make sure that every surface of these potatoes is covered in goose fat. This stuff is absolutely glorious. Okay, I'm sorry about my snivels. I have a little bit of a cold at the moment, but that won't stop me from enjoying my favourite foods. Okay, and like I said earlier on, okay, make sure none of the flat surfaces are facing downwards. So you want all of the flat surfaces facing upwards, so that you don't have anything sticking. There's nothing worse than when you make something as delicious as this and you can't get out of the pan. I'm sure some of you can identify with this, some of the more experienced chefs. Okay, so this shouldn't take too long to do. So I think that's about it for now. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the seasoning. Okay, so my hands are a little bit sticky, but still I'm going to sprinkle this on. Okay, so this is beef stock powder. In Germany it's called Rinderbrewer or Rinderbouillon. I have a tablespoon of this. If you can't get hold of this stuff in the UK, and I'm sure you can get it at Tesco's, but if you look in your cupboard, you probably have some OXO cubes. 2 or 3 OXO cubes would be enough. Yeah.
What about America? Is there something like this in America?
Yeah, they have beef bouillon, I'm sure, bouillon powder, I think it's called in the United States. If there are any Americans watching, definitely try this out. I know that roast potatoes are really underrated in the United States. And actually, you're really missing out. Okay, so I think that's about it for now. This will go in the oven at 180 degrees, and they will take about 40 minutes, okay, to crisp up. You can't take them out before, you can take them out at any time. Like I said, they have been pre-boiled, okay, so they, you know, theoretically they don't take long, but we want to get as much crispiness and flavour from the fat as we can, okay?
And you put them together in with the meatballs?
Yes, exactly. So they'll go in at the same time as the meatballs, which take 40 to 45 minutes as well. And yeah, everything will come together, come out of the oven at the same time. Okay, so next time I see you, I'll be tasting the meatballs on the... Okay, so now that everything is out of the oven, let's take a look inside. Okay, so let's start with the meatballs first of all. Best to take the biggest one, okay, then you can see if they're cooked or not. Yeah. So if this one is cooked, they're all cooked through. Okay, so 45 minutes they've been in. Okay, was it crispy on the top? So, okay, absolutely fantastic. Okay, so let's go ahead and taste this. Okay, it hasn't got much of a shape to it, but I imagine it's delicious. Smells fantastic. And that is absolutely what a meatball should taste like. Beefy, cheesy, delicious. Absolutely. Okay, so let's take a look at the potatoes. Okay, again we find a nice big one. Okay. Okay, so I'll be careful tasting this because I know it's going to be scorching. You can see the steam coming off that. Yeah. Okay. So take a smaller piece. Nice and crispy. Beautiful. Very nice.
Okay, so before you start eating everything now, stop it and come to your last words then.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed watching the video as much as Rebecca and I enjoyed making it. And well, I hope you're as successful with trying out this recipe as we have been. Okay, thank you. Catch you next time.